everybody. Welcome back to the Related Podcast. I am your host, Amanda Bybel, and I am so excited to talk to you guys today all about money attachment. Have you ever heard of that before? Have you ever heard of attachment theory? Well, before we get into today's topic, I'm gonna just do a whole little recap of like what's going on right now. So if you're watching on YouTube, then if my eyes look like they might close like mid-podcast episode, it's because I have literally been up all night long with baby Cameron. So we moved him from the bassinet next to our bed to his crib on Friday night. I think the problem was that we did like all of these things all in the same night, and poor little Cam was having a little bit of an issue adjusting to all of this. So basically we had him swaddled, we had him in the bassinet, and then in the same night we're like, you know what? Cam's a big boy now. Let's move him to the crib. Let's take him out of the swaddle, put him in the sleep sack. And this child, let me tell you, so me and Brett both are the type of sleeper, and Julian too. It's actually hysterical to watch Julian sleep on the monitor, but we are the type of, there's two different types of people in this world, okay? There are the types of sleepers who go to bed on like their side or on their back, and they wake up in the exact same position. The blankets didn't move, nothing changed throughout the night. It's like completely the same. And then there's a sleeper like me and Brett. We both ended up the same way, where you literally end up on the opposite side of the bed, turned around the other way, where the blankets are, you know, turned and all the things, and like a pillow is all the way across the room. And let me know in the comments what kind of sleeper you are, but that's the type of sleeper I am. It's the type of sleeper Brett is. And Julian, watching Julian on the monitor is hysterical because he'll go to sleep like in one little corner, and then he'll wake up on the totally opposite side of the bed, socks off, shirt over his head, like literally laid out in every other direction. And we're like, he's definitely our son. And now that Cameron's not swaddled anymore, because when you're swaddled, you're kind of like in a straitjacket. Like basically you can't move in any way, shape, or form. You're kind of just stuck there. So this child is like flailing his arms, and because he's flailing his arms so much, he knocks the pacifier out of the mouth. So when he knocks the passy out of his mouth, he starts to cry because he likes the pacifier at night. So when he was swaddled, he couldn't knock the passy out of his mouth. So he would stay nice and still, the passy would stay in. Maybe on occasion it would just like drop out in the middle of the night, and you just kind of have to like pop it back in there. But now that he's like waving his arms in every which way, I'm trying to like think of what kind of animal it reminds me of, but the only thing that I could think of is like running around with a chicken without a head, and I know that's absolutely not accurate how to describe the situation. It's kind of like a rockette. Like he's doing like this dance in the middle of the night. Last night was a night. Put him down, and I'm telling you, every 30 minutes he was crying, and like I feel like it hurts my heart so much that he's obviously so tired and wants to sleep, because Cameron is a dream baby. Like from the minute he came home from the hospital, well, maybe not the minute, but a couple of weeks after he came home, he would sleep the whole night. He's been sleeping from like 6:30, 7 o'clock p.m. until 7:30 in the morning without really any wake ups in the middle of the night. So this child really values his sleep, and so do I. I value my sleep too. We've been really spoiled. Now moving him and having this whole kind of like upheaval, I think it's also around the time of his 4-month regression. So it's essentially the perfect storm. So if you're a mom or a new mom, or if you're not a mom at all and you can totally relate, then I feel for you, because I feel like I'm back in the newborn phase right now, and it's been a little bit difficult. But I think that's also one of the reasons why, you know, doing mindset work and really valuing coffee. My mom asked me if I was on speed this morning. I'm like, dude, I just told you about my night and you're gonna ask me if I'm on speed. I'm literally running on coffee and adrenaline right now. Like that's what's happening at the moment. So no, I am not on speed. If I am talking too fast, then listen quicker. Or slow it down. Ooh, that's actually gonna be a topic about like quick talkers and slow talkers coming up in a couple of weeks. So make sure you keep listening to the podcast for some really interesting information about different types of people and personality types and things like that, which kind of will relate to what we're gonna be talking about today with different attachment styles. I was thinking about the different like highlights of the week, and this weekend I did with my family, we did our first family of 4 photo shoot shoot with the best photographer in New Jersey. So if you're in New Jersey, make sure you check her out. Her name is Amanda Christie Photography. I'll link her name below, but she is actually the person who stands behind the camera for me right now, and she has done all of my branding photos. But it was so exciting because we haven't done a family of 4 photo shoot yet, and it was just in time for Valentine's Day to do this whole little sweetheart theme. So I'll be posting some of those pictures probably before you guys get to listen to the episode. When she sent them on Sunday, I literally had tears in my eyes because I was so, like, they just warmed my heart so much. And baby Cam has gotten so big, and Julian has such a personality, and it's just so cute to see us as a family just like in photos. Like, it's just so beautiful. So that was the highlight of my week this week. I highly recommend, if you are, a family, or if you're not even a family, like, get some professional photos taken regularly, because it's just so cool to see those beautiful pictures taken and like you representing yourself and your family in a way that just feels so amazing and filled with love. And also, so I think this is kind of funny, and I'm probably going to get the answer as I'm talking on this episode right now. But like I said, I record these a couple weeks in advance. So yesterday was actually the Super Bowl. So, hey, surprise, probably going to listen to this 3 weeks from now. Me and Brett didn't watch it. Like, I felt like it was just such an un-American thing for us to do, to not watch the Super Bowl. Like, everybody watches the Super Bowl. And I was on the phone with my sister this morning, coming over to my office, getting ready to film and stuff, because we have our self-love workshop today, which I'm so excited about. So if you attended, I want to hear all about your experience in the comments below as well. But I was on the phone with her, and I'm like, who even won the Super Bowl? We both didn't know. Who won the Super Bowl?
The Chiefs.
So the Chiefs won the Super Bowl. Do you know what the score was?
Really close. It was like 30-something to 30-something.
Oh, so it was like a really exciting one. Yeah. I mean, I'm not like a big football fan. I was a cheerleader growing up, so I know football, but I don't like watch football. And I think I'm actually really lucky, because a lot of people have significant others that like their life revolves around sports and like when their sports teams are playing. And Brett's just not one of those people. And he never has once said like he couldn't do something because the football game was on, or the basketball, or the playoffs, or whatever. And I really value that, because I grew up in a household like that where my dad didn't really care much about sports. Not that you have to be a male to like sports, but I just feel like stereotype wise, that's kind of like what it seems like. But my grandma, however, which is so interesting because she is like of the older generation. She is, I think, 87 or 88 now, and she is a diehard Mets fan. Now, when I'm telling you she's a diehard Mets fan, she literally wouldn't even come to like a birthday party or a barbecue if the Mets were playing, and if she did come, she'd be inside watching the game with my papa, and the two of them's lives revolved around the Mets. Even now, like 100 years later, not that she's 100, but she loves watching the Mets, and it's just so funny because that didn't run in our blood. And I'm really lucky that Brett isn't like that. So we'll see what happens with Julian and Cameron. But for now, we didn't watch the Super Bowl. So if you did watch the Super Bowl, I hope you had a lot of fun. Today's topic is going to be all about attachment theory. We're going to just like brush the surface of it today. And I think we'll go deeper into the different types of attachment styles in different YouTube videos and podcast episodes coming up. But I found this so interesting. When I learned about attachment theory, I was actually learning about it through just deep rewiring of my own money mindset. So essentially, attachment theory was founded by someone named John Bowlby, and he categorized people into four different attachment types, but today we're just going to categorize it into 2. It's going to be secure attachment versus insecure attachment. So secure attachment is secure attachment. So it's like essentially your hashtag money relationship goals. This is where we all want to be. And don't worry if you're not a secure attachment to money, to business, to people. It's essentially how we attach to all of our interpersonal relationships, and it forms at a young age. So between the ages of 0 and 7, kids are literally like this walking subconscious mind. They take on information from all around us and they take on everybody else's beliefs as their own truth. They also form attachments around the age of 0 to 2, maybe a little bit before that. Again, these are general numbers, so attachments can be formed between the 0 and 6 months, 0 and 18 months, but typically between 0 and 2. So basically, this is how children attach to their caregivers or children attach to their parents, and how they received a sense of belonging in their lives as it pertained to their caregivers. So secure attachment, again, was like that money relationship goals. These are like the goals. This is when you feel like super trusting, super secure, really, really certain of where you stand and all of the things in your life. And then we have insecure attachment, which comprises of 3 different attachment styles. So you have anxious attachment, you have dismissive attachment, and you also have avoidant attachment. So these are 3 different insecure attachment styles. And don't worry, if you relate to insecure attachment, then it doesn't mean you're doomed forever or that there's something wrong with you or that you're broken. There's no reason why you can't heal from that or reprogram for that or do things to move towards a more secure attachment style. Bowlby suggests that children come into this world pre-programmed to form attachments with other people. So essentially, when our caregivers are caring to us when we were young, how they cared to us is essentially how we learned how to attach to them. This attachment style is the foundation of all of the relationships that we'll have throughout our entire life. So this can be, again, like relationships to your money, relationships to your business, relationships with your significant others, family members, work, career, different habits that you have, like just different things, material things, non-material things. So most times when people talk about attachment styles, they're referring to how they relate to other people. But as an entrepreneur, this is actually going to be how you relate to business and money. So why is this important? Because as an entrepreneur, if you're listening and you are an entrepreneur, then this is really important because how we interact with our money, this is the core part of our job as a business owner, right? So if we have an insecure attachment with money, what's going to happen is we'll have this love-hate relationship with it. And basically, as a business owner, you want to love your money so you can attract more of it. You want to love your business so you can feel really good going into it instead of the opposite. So if you fall in love with your money, you'll fall in love with success. Yay! So if you want to find out what your attachment style is, we're going to be talking about the different attachment styles today. And I also have created a checklist and a guide for you that you can go ahead and download for free below. It's going to diagnose what kind of attachment style you have, and it'll also help you work through ways to heal from any of the insecure attachment styles. But a sign of secure attachment is that you know that money is simply energy. Your emotions and your feelings and the way you are as a human isn't going to change based on the number in your bank account. You know at your core that you are valuable and that value is separate from the money and the success that you have maybe in business. You can openly talk about money in a loving way, and you're not triggered when other people talk about their success or their money. You also allow yourself to feel supported when it comes to money matters, and I think this is a really important thing. In society today, I feel like it's sort of normalized to like not talk about money, and I remember posting on Instagram maybe like a year or so ago, and someone very close to me responded back to my story and was like, this isn't nice to talk about your income and, you know, a big goal that you hit income-wise because it's gonna make other people feel bad. And I was like, coming from this place of I had just gone through all of this money healing, and I was like, oh my gosh, that's not how I wanted it to come across at all, because when I see that now, if I see someone posting about like their big income months or the number of clients that they landed that month or all of these beautiful things that they have achieved inside of their life and their business or all of these different successes, I'm inspired by that. And that's how I know that I've moved from that like anxious avoidant attachment to money to this secure attachment. And that just shows you that there is a way to get out of those feelings of ickiness when it comes to money and move to a place of feeling secure. Now, the 3 insecure attachment styles are anxious attachment, dismissive attachment, and avoidant attachment. These are different insecure attachment styles that will basically keep you from manifesting the money and the success that you want to see in your life. What this means is that there's a lot of work to do as it pertains to money, but that doesn't mean, that you're broken or that you need to be fixed. Basically, what this means is you have to understand your value as it relates to who you are as a human at your core and your worth, and separate that from how well you're doing in business or the dollar amount in your bank account. Now, one of the insecure attachment symptoms would essentially be like, oh my gosh, I'm feeling really nervous to even open up my bank account right now. If the number in my bank, and this is something I used to tell myself, so if the number is above this amount, I'm okay for today. But if this number has dropped below that amount, then oh my God, I am going to literally die. So that's like some of the things that used to pop up in my head. Like I would be so scared to even take a look at my bank account. I was horrible at managing money. I would hoard my money when I had it, and I would overspend to feel secure. So there's a difference in overspending if you have the money and you don't get that buyer's remorse. But if you are overspending and then afterwards, like while you're about to hand over your credit card or the cash at the cash register, you feel it in your core, like almost like you're being gutted. Like, oh my God, am I doing the right thing? Should I be spending this money right now? And you're literally questioning yourself all the time. Has anyone ever felt that way? If you have, that's okay. Like I felt that way too. And just so you know, like there's ways to come back from that. So different ways that I have worked on my own money healing and money attachment styles is through EFT tapping. So a couple of weeks ago, we did an EFT tapping podcast, and I also have some tapping on YouTube. You can also work on your affirmations and saying things that will allow you to truly give thanks for the money that you have. And you can also work on these different manifestation techniques and money manifestation techniques that will allow you to just shift your perspective, because when it comes to subconscious rewiring and working on your relationship with like money and business and success, it all just comes down to rewiring your mind so that you are programmed for success and not feeling afraid of failure or feeling like a failure if you're not successful, right? I actually heard this mantra the other day, and actually it's not even a mantra. It was more like one thing that you can do when you're spending your money if you're not manifesting the money that you want. And it was someone who I follow on Instagram. His name is James Wedmore. I don't know if any of you guys have ever heard of him, but he is the mentor of one of my favorite people. So I'm going to shout her out again, Catherine Zankina. If you hear this, please come on my podcast. I would absolutely love that. I've sent her a couple of messages to invite her, and unfortunately, we haven't gotten there yet, but manifesting that, guys. So if you are watching this, repost and tag her. I will put her post below. Because you are going to be on my podcast one day, and maybe we'll even film it in person, manifesting it. But what I heard James Wedmore say, and I thought it was really amazing, was instead of feeling like, oh my God, when you go to the register and you're handing over your credit card and you're paying a bill, whether it's at the grocery store or at the retail shop that you just bought some things out, or maybe you got yourself a couple new crystals, or maybe you're at Barnes & Noble buying a new journal, because that's what I just did this weekend. I bought myself a new journal. I'm really excited about it. Or maybe you're just like paying a bill or going to the doctor, or so wherever you're spending that money and you're handing over that credit card and you're feeling like, okay, well, there's another dollar being spent. Instead of saying that to yourself, or instead of just like feeling that, oh my gosh, well, there goes some more money, or whatever those thoughts are going through your head, I want you to use this perspective shift, because for me, I started doing it and I noticed my vibration just like instantly raised to this place of gratitude and like, wow, like I get to do this. So next time you go and spend some money, wherever it is, I want you to think about what those dollars that you are giving to the person behind the checkout counter are actually doing for the company. So the company, let's call it ShopRite or the grocery store. Let's say you're handing over your credit card to pay your $100 grocery bill for the week. And we're just using round numbers. Mine's much higher than that because I have a whole family to support and inflation right now. Let's not get there. But let's say you are handing over your credit card and you see the guy or the girl behind the counter and she swipes your card. Now I want you to think about, wow, the money I just spent on all of my groceries are actually paying this person's paycheck so they can put food on their table tonight, they can put the roof over their head, they can put the clothes on their back, and they can live the livelihood that they desire to live because I'm coming to this store and using my money to support this company and these people. So like when you humanize the money, instead of thinking it as just money coming out, what it's actually allowing others to do, it kind of creates this exchange of gratitude. And I was talking about that with Brett yesterday because we are married and we have like financial conversations, open financial conversations these days. It used to be much more, I used to come from the place of like anytime he would ask me what a charge was on like my bank account statement or whatever, because he does all of our bills, he's in finance, he does it, totally like hand it over to him. But I would come from this like super defensive place of like, well, I needed that. And what do you mean? And he's like, I wasn't asking you to attack you. I was just asking you what the charge was. And because I was so like in it with my like anxious and avoidant attachment to money that I felt almost personally attacked. But anyway, so now we have like these open talks about money, and we actually do these money dates, which is really fun. So that's another thing that you can do to work on your attachment style to move towards a more secure one where you have like this healthy money hygiene. We were talking about the mantra that James Wedmore has said, and we're like, wow, we're gonna work on that. We're gonna say that, and we're gonna really just use that every day. And we went to bring the kids to a jungle gym yesterday, and he said it out loud, and it was just so cool to hear, you know? So all that being said, this was your intro to money attachment, and we will go deeper into this over the next couple of weeks. We'll talk a little bit more about the different attachment styles specifically. And I have the freebie below. So if you are interested to find out what attachment style you are, it covers all 4 attachment styles, and it will also break it down into signs of each one and what you can do to move towards a more healthy relationship with money. So make sure you check in the description box if that's something of interest to you. And I hope you enjoyed today's episode. I can't wait to chat with you guys next week. And remember, you are you, and that is your superpower. Mwah! Bye, guys.